Good evening. It's Monday, which means it's time for Enterprise at 8. That's right. This is Live Long and Podcast Star Trek Enterprise rewatch series. It's been, I'm going to go with around 20 years.
20 years?
That's right. Trip 20 years since this week's episode, Azati Prime, first aired. But we're just getting started here at Enterprise at 8. I'm Jody Simpson, and along with me is my co-host, Adam Woodward.
Hey, Jody.
We missed you last week, Adam.
I missed you guys, and I wanted to talk about the hatchery. I like that episode, and I certainly like tonight's episode.
Yes, tonight's episode is a good episode, I think.
Yeah.
Very good. Anyway, and of course, joining Adam and I is Live Long and Podcast awesome producer Dave Mater.
Yep. I don't have a great comeback or any kind of thought.
I didn't write you an intro on purpose this time,
so it's all good. Thank you. Glad to be here. Azati Prime. We finally made it.
We're where
it's
we.
Been a long road.
It's been a long road,
long
you could
road.
say. Getting from there to here.
And of course, who could forget the man, the myth, the legend, Kevin Millard.
Hello. This
You don't got
fucking
anything, eh?
episode is great.
Yeah,
This
it is
is
really
the
good.
Zindi arc.
Right.
Yes, this is part of the Zindi arc. Now, before
No,
we
it
get
is
started,
the only part of the Zindi arc so
wait, that doesn't
far.
work.
yeah. Oh, there we go. We got 4 now.
Yeah, I was
All
like, oh yeah, I guess that one doesn't do 4 people.
Yeah, I guess
right.
not. I got a little bit of a little kind of a goofy little thing I decided we were going to do this week instead of some other stuff. So, the big trending thing nowadays is AI, right?
Right.
All right.
Mhm.
So I decided I was going to put in a request to an AI chatbot to give me a song based on Live Long and Podcast.
Okay.
All right. So it's very short, but I'll just give you the lyrics. All right. I was actually very surprised what it came up with. And actually, I think, Dave, you're probably going to be more surprised than anybody. All right.
Okay. Well,
So the first verse is Live Long and Podcast is the show that's got the Trek talk you want to know. From
Ooh.
Picard to Discovery and more, Dave Mater's got the scoop on what's in store. That's just the first lyric.
is this
my
like a
friend.
Chat GBT kind of
Yeah,
thing?
same idea. Yeah. Same
You know, I
idea.
just watched this whole thing about how the writers want to ban Chat GBT and like the writer strike. I'm thinking we don't need them.
I'm thinking if Discovery used this, it would have been way better.
yeah,
Let's be honest.
I think they're
Oh,
onto something.
The second verse is with guests who know their Trek inside and out. You'll hear opinions that will make you shout. From theories to reviews and more. Live Long and Podcast is never a bore. I don't
like
know
this
if I'd agree
song.
with that part.
I think we need to get Davin to cover this.
We're gonna get Davan to cover it. Okay, I'll save it. So that way, and then we have finally the last verse, which is so if you're looking for Trek talk that's great and you want to hear from someone first rate, then tune in to Live Long and Podcast today and hear what Dave has to say. It was all about you. So there you go. I thought you would enjoy that.
Oh no, it's
Now
great.
ask it to do it in the style of like death metal or something.
Oh, I should have did that. Okay, I'm gonna tweak that a bit and see if maybe we can get something better.
It was
Anyway,
almost like a rap, like a freestyle rap. But
It is
you know.
almost like a freestyle rap. Yeah, I would love to see you do this as like an impression of like Eminem, Dave. I think
Or
that's
turn it
pretty
into
sweet.
a Dr. Seuss book.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
Dr. Seuss book with pictures of Dave with various Star Trek props. That'd be awesome. All right. Anyway, let's
Yeah.
get into the meat and potatoes of this. Tonight's episode is Azati Prime. This is the 69th. Yes,
69.
69, Dave. Episode of the series, and this episode is about the crew discovers the Zindi weapon that plans to launch the suicide mission to destroy it when Archer insists that he be at the helm. But when Archer is captured, he must convince Degra and the other Zindi leaders that humanity is no threat to the Zindi. So there you go.
Yep.
But this is initial impressions, guys. This is probably, in my opinion, this is probably the most fun Trek of this season anyway. This episode, I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, for me, like this episode was always a good one because as much as I struggled with the prequel idea around Enterprise, especially when it was airing, this was at least showing us like a little glimpse of like what comes after the Next Generation Voyager, era. This was Daniels takes us to the 26th century, I think, in this episode.
Enterprise J, yeah.
Enterprise J. So there was some parts of that I really liked, and I think that that still sticks out quite well, even though it's pretty brief in this episode. yeah, I think that the stuff with the Zindi, I think, was really good. Really starting to become interesting. But
Mhm.
16 episodes into the season.
Took us a little while to get here.
Yeah,
As Kevin said, it has been a long road.
it's been a long road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin, what are your thoughts?
This was great. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I watched the next episode. I couldn't not watch the next episode.
Yeah, I forgot this
And,
episode was actually a two-parter, basically, but they don't really
Yeah.
tell you it's a two-parter, but it is.
It's not. It's because they don't give you a to be continued like
No,
that.
they just
But
end the show, and you have to tune in next week. Yeah.
because normally on the podcast, if it's a true two-parter, and sometimes they don't have part 1 and part 2. Like D Space Nine has a couple that they have completely different names, but they are clearly two-parters, and they have it. I think that our rule is if there's a to be continued,
Yeah,
then it's
then
a
we do both of
two-parter.
them at the same time, generally. Yeah.
right? This has a cliffhanger. This has all the givings of a two-parter, but it's not technically one.
Yeah.
It's its own standalone episode.
What are you thinking, Adam?
Well, to that point, they also it was also like a big pause between Azati Prime and then the next one, which was Damage, I think it was called.
Damage.
They had they treated it almost like a cliffhanger at the time, but
Because it was like a
with the
month. It was
pause,
like a month and a half between the episodes.
yeah. So a bit of a pause. Anyway, listen, I'm checking who wrote this one because I thought it was so good. There was only a few things in this episode, as we'll go through. I'll tell you what I didn't like, but I really liked it. It was entertaining. Whoever wrote knew when to pause it. Like, that was a great stop.
Yeah, well, this is Manny Kodo, who joined the staff in the season. He's writing some of the episodes we've liked quite a bit this season. Like Berman and Braga are definitely they're on the story of all this, but I think that this is more of a Manny Kodo script and certainly a screenplay.
Yeah.
He worked on shows like The Outer Limits and Odyssey 5 and Dexter and some other things like that. So,
Yeah, I mean,
Tales from
well,
the Crypt.
they gave him a good episode to write because it was. I found it just right from the start, really engaging, entertaining, and fast paced.
The Archer Kamikaze episode, kind of.
Yeah.
Like everyone was trying to sacrifice themselves. Who could be the most self-sacrificing? There was a bit of competition here between Archer and DePaul and even Tripp at times.
Now, this is I agree with Sam. This is probably the best episode of the season. Is it because Mayweather and Hoshi are in it a lot more?
It's not hurting it.
Mayweather was actually useful.
Yeah.
Actually, Mayweather's fairly predominant in this episode.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say Hoshi is that much, but like
I
she
would
doesn't
give him.
have it.
I would
give her
I
a
would
hundred
give him-
time.
I would say this is a Mayweather episode.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go that
He
far.
needs
I don't know.
something. He needs something.
We're the
Come on.
closest we get these days to one, but
Right.
like
But they finally gave him what he was supposed to do. Fly something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you want
All right,
run
Dave.
through it?
Let's get up the screenshot.
All right,
here.
let's go in here.
you.
Do we want? Maybe we'll do this one.
Let's do this.
You want to do this one or this one? I don't know.
Let's do that one for now. Let's see
Okay,
how
we'll
it
do this one.
Yeah.
Okay, so
goes. A little small though.
yeah, let's maybe go the other one. I think.
Why don't we go back to the traditional one on the side?
I don't like the
You
one.
don't like that one?
I'm.
All right, let's do this one. then.
I'm bored of it. I guess.
You're bored of it.
So
He's the producer. He gets to make that choice.
He
guys.
does a lot of podcasts.
He does
yeah.
do a lot of podcasts.
So I'm going to this new layout where we're all
right.
along the bottom
no problem,
here.
No problem. Let's
So
do it.
if you're listening to us on the audio version, we are kind of running through the screenshots from the episode with them above us and we're below. It's like almost like we're all arm in arm here, guys. Like
I could reach
we-
out and touch someone here. A
We
fist
have to
bump you.
change it now.
I'll
No.
fist bump you, Adam.
Right.
Rock side, Adam. All right, there we go.
now I'm making it weird. Anyway, so the episode starts off. We get Enterprise just coming out of warp. There's sensors going off. They're at this red giant, which we can assume is Azati Prime because that's what they've been leading to for like the last 4 episodes. I think that this is where they've been
I think
headed.
it's been longer than that now.
Yeah, it's at least And then he's like, put it on screen. Let me see. We see a bunch of Zindi ships, which we magnify upon one, and we see one's a Zindi primate design, and we're getting, I guess, as we're going through the season, I'm getting better at like identifying, oh, that's an insectoid or that's a reptilian ship or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but once you see the warp signature, Archer goes, Degra. It's Degra. The guy who won't remember me because I completely erased his memory and then sent him on his way.
I screwed with him and then sent him on his way. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, and then we see back on that ship, Degra having a toast with his fellow Zindi primates to celebrate the completion of the weapon that will destroy Earth and wipe out humanity. Cheers, everybody. That's the teaser. So,
Wasn't it wasn't a bad open though.
No, it was a good opening.
For Enterprise, that's a pretty top-notch opening.
And they even set up that Degra has some misgivings about what he's doing.
Yes. Yeah.
Because he's like, it's weird.
Yeah.
I know it's weird to celebrate the completion of a weapon.
Yeah, it's weird. I know it's weird that we're gonna kill like complete genocide, but it's us or them, everybody. That's what we're told here.
Yeah.
That the Zindi are like, it's us or them. That's what this stranger from the future told us. So that's what we're going with. So then we come here to the Zindi reptilian ship, which is docked with Degra's Zindi primate ship. So we can kind of get some contrast on the size difference there. But the Zindis, at least a couple of the member species, are meeting up here for the episode titled Azati Prime. Of course, our friend here, the reptilian, who's always the most human-hating of all the council. We got arboreals. We got primates, of course, including Degra. And the other guy, who I can never remember his name, but he's like the council guy. He's like the council's Zindi primate, and he's present in this episode quite a bit. And they're getting ready to wipe out humanity. I think the Zindi reptilian guy is like, we're gonna have to go after all their colonies, and we're gonna have to hunt them all down. I don't know how it's gonna go.
He wasn't stopping, Dave. He's going.
No.
He's
It
going
reminded me a lot of Babylon 5 when the Minbari were trying.
Babylon
to go in
what?
there. One of the best shows ever.
Oh.
And so
Not
anyway,
familiar with it, sorry.
yeah. Anyway, back in on Enterprise, Reed is briefing them about the solar system, this Azati solar system, that there's a sensor network and it's hard to get in. They can't just fly their ship in. T'Pol kind of gives us this information that they can't get through with their own shuttle pods because it's highly surveilled. So they're going to have to get in, and they come up with this idea that they're going to take the ship that they stole, the Zindi insectoid ship that they picked up. I guess it was last episode, Hatchery.
That was the ship that they had in their their whole
Archer, fresh off of his Aunt Mama phase, is ready to get on with it. And
can I say how much I like Archer in this episode, though?
Sure.
Like Archer's just a badass in this episode. It's great.
He's amazing in this episode, and he's even better when they have him strung up so he can't walk around.
Yep,
that is like the best scene.
Best acting he ever has done.
Other than that, he is like, he's great, but he's making me dizzy in this episode. Like, it is just constant circles he's walking.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he's allowed to.
And even when he's not. If he was great.
I liked him. I liked him in this episode.
He's pretty good in this. Like, he doesn't stir up the feels for me like a Picard speech does, but
Yeah, but I think his torture scenes were great. I think he did that really well.
Oh yeah. Once we had reptiles, and now we eat them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like this little thing about how how all the dinosaurs died, most likely because they had a walnut-sized brain.
Yeah, he's like they had a brain,
and that's common in the universe apparently.
And then he's like, "That's small," at least to see.
Just small, by the way.
Yeah, he just gets all like super anti-reptilian on him because the reptilian guy's like, primates are not this resilient, even the Zindi primates. Or whatever. Anyway, so yeah, telepathy by Manikoto. Here we get this moment as well with Hoshi, who she's trying to translate insectoid. And I guess T'Pol gives a little bit of unsupportive encouragement here. Sort of like I don't know. It's just like T'Pol being condescending to Hoshi. And we haven't had a moment like this in a while. Archer phase 2. Yeah, maybe. Who's to say?
Yeah, this is the episode where Archer breaks bad.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, well, he attacks the Zindi base
Break-
there. He
break-
kills
breaking
Zindi. Like
Archer.
it's more where they're like, this is a war. I'm in a war, and I'm going. This is wartime Archer.
Yeah.
I guess is the way to look at it. So anyway, he's sending Trip and Mayweather Archer, that is sending them both in the Zindi ship to the insectoid ship to kind of get information. He's like, get in and get out, find out the weapon and get out. They're like, oh, okay. And don't take any risks. So they leave, they go on their way, they head down to Azati Prime. We see there that even though Mayweather, as far as we know, is a pretty good pilot, he has a hard time flying this craft because the insectoid, I guess, controls not completely intuitive to humanoids. We see here on the screen that they're kind of flying out all wobbly.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
Yeah.
And then they eventually fly into the ship, don't they?
They almost they almost kind of fly right into Enterprise, but they kind of miss it.
Almost. No, they do.
No, they do. They hit it.
They hit it, but they don't
They hit probably the shields of it.
Not
Those
they
grams
kind of
off it.
graze it. They kind of graze it or something.
Yeah, and then Archer's like, and don't worry, I'll just send you the bill.
Yeah. It's like, I'll send you the bill. Yeah, that's right. And I don't know. But like, I don't know, Mayweather, like the more he flies it, the more.
Who is this guy that's with Tucker anyway?
Yeah, he's some extra, I think. So, and Archer mostly scowling in this episode, but, especially on the bridge. Anyway, so they're on their way. They're figuring it out. And is this where they get the call? Hey, we might have find this is so yeah, like Trip and Mayweather kind of go off on their mission, and this is when they find the moon base for the Zindi. I don't know if we get it. Do they tell us what kind of Zindi these were? Like what? I don't know if it really matters, but
Just said 3 Zindi.
They just said there were 3 Zindis, and she goes, well, why haven't they sent out a distress call? But we're told that they can't because they're not in communications range. So it's presumed that they'll tell the Zindi
Which, if you have a military base, it seems kind of counterproductive to have a military base on a moon that can only communicate every 4 hours or something like that. Seems kind of counterproductive there, but
the Zindi do a lot of counterproductive
Line of sight.
Yeah,
it did work
anyway,
for them.
and then Archer's like,
True.
This is where he turns around. He decides, I'm going to blow them up. I'm going to destroy them. He also could have maybe tried to destroy their communications tower or something like that. But
no time.
But by that point, they'd already seen him, Davey. So
That's cutting in or hanging out in the planets with the cowboys. We don't have that kind of time, guys.
Yeah. So he's like, no, I can't risk it. They're building this weapon to destroy her. So he gives the order, target torpedoes. T'Pol objects, but she does not really that hard. I think she kind of knows he's correct. And I could even see a Vulcan captain giving this order. They are at a state of war, effectively. And so anyway, they do it. Malcolm fires the torpedoes and boom, there they go. And, even Malcolm's quite pleased. He's like, yeah, that's right.
Oh, I didn't think that at all. I thought that he showed some remorse there.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Everybody was kind of showing hesitation to do that.
I think he was just shocked that something worked.
Yeah, maybe that he actually hit the target. That could have also been part of it.
No,
but anyway,
I agree with Adam and Kevin though. I think it was a little bit of a remorse type thing.
Yeah.
It would have been great if Archer had given him the order and he had hesitated and Archer turned and went, do you want me to get Hayes up here to do it?
Yeah. I know he'll do the job.
I think everybody's really just shocked because Archer's making decisions like this.
Yeah.
He's not
Which
taking
is not
it
something he normally does. Usually it's
Right.
like a 20-minute discussion.
Yeah, well, it's rare in Star Trek where we see something like this, where this isn't like, it is like a situation where it's them or them, like it's us or them kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's not like you're being attacked by an alien ship and you have to fight them back in self-defense quite that simply. It's a preemptive strike of sorts because they know that they can't risk being detected here. The mission's too important. So, it's not completely self-defense, but it's not completely
And on the planet, they are defenseless, like on the moon. obviously they're defenseless.
Yeah.
Right.
2 torpedoes, the whole thing blows up.
Right.
You know,
and
they're-
how long did he say he had until they'd be noticed?
A few hours. A few
4
hours.
hours, I think they said. Yeah.
4
Yeah.
hours. Then they got to be missing for 2, and so they got 6 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
buys them some time here. Meanwhile, Trip and Mayweather continue their descent, and this is where they figure out that the Zindi insectoid ship. They talked about in the last episode that it had really strong structural integrity, it could survive a gas giant. It seems to be because it can also go sub aquatic. It can go underwater, submarine, and
Well, 1/6 of their race lives in water, so I
the
guess that
Zindi
makes sense.
aquatics, yeah, and insectoids or insects in general kind of are evolved from the water. They're kind of evolved from fish.
Well, I love this scene, by the way. I thought it was great.
Yeah, they go down into the water and they're kind of swimming the ship around, and then they we find this underwater world, where they're building the big weapon that's going to destroy Earth. But there's kind of like there's more structure here. We see different types of ships, aquatic ships, but we also just see like aquatics like swimming around. They're pretty small, but they're there. In terms of like, even though Archer says get in and get out, Trip and Mayweather decide no, let's kind of look deeper into this, and they kind of go on an extended surveillance mission here, and they end up bringing a lot of intel back to Enterprise from here. So there's a time jump here where they're kind of breaking it all down for Archer. This is a Death Star thing. There's a Death Star level weakness they can take out.
It's always those damn exhaust ports.
Yeah, it's always an exhaust port. If you just fire like a well-timed torpedo down this one little chute, the whole thing blows up. Although, I love that Daniels points out to Archer later on that, if you destroy this, they're just going to build another one. They know how to build one.
Yeah.
So,
not only that, but they can build them fairly quickly. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't take even maybe a year to build one, if that. So.
Well, they've been in the Expanse now for what? It would be probably about 9 months now.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
So.
better part of a year. And the attack happened 2 months before they entered the Expanse itself, right? So, I feel like the initial attack was 7 million people. That's a while ago. But yeah, the Zindi can get this. Anyway, so Archer's planning to fly. It's a one-way trip. They come up with this plan. We can blow it up. If we fly the Zindi insectoid ship in, we'll have a couple torpedoes, and it will be a one-way trip. And so they're like, so Mayweather wants to do it. Trip wants to do the mission. But Archer, no, I'm going to fly the mission. I'm not going to order somebody to their death. I have to sacrifice myself as the captain. So
I'm surprised Malcolm didn't. Wrong move. Malcolm suddenly wants to live.
Yeah, he just knows he's not.
This is where I started. This is where I was at a 10 until now. I don't like these captains that say, the captain is not meant to do this. End of story. He's supposed to stay with the crew, take them through the next thing, because it ain't going to be easy getting out. And he's got people. And Malcolm, to your point, is a great choice.
Yeah, but that's from us viewers. I don't know if he's necessarily a great.
He's not
overall.
you want a really good pilot for this mission. So
yeah, and I don't think Malcolm's the good.
Malcolm
pilot,
is not that. So it's
all right. Mayweather. But you get my
Mayweather
point.
is probably the best choice.
I absolutely get your point. I think what they're trying to do, though, and I think that's something that really the writing was a bit weak on, was I think they're trying to show the descent of Archer and how he feels responsible for a lot of things and how he doesn't feel like he's a good person anymore because he's doing all these things that he wouldn't normally do, like, kill 3 innocent people for no reason other than just to, keep the mission going. Stuff like that. So.
He would have failed his bridge exam, just like just like Troy.
Deanna Troy did the first time.
Yeah,
they're do-overs, and if you can order a holographic Jody to his death, then you get promoted to commander.
Yep.
Yeah. Let me see you do that with a real Jody LaForge, Deanna Troy, and see where you do from there. But he's like, I think even Mayweather says you're the least expendable person on the ship. And why?
I think it was Trips. Oh yeah, it was one of them. Anyway, You're
Yeah,
right.
it was
He is the
Mayweather.
least expendable. Like,
Yeah. But I think Jody's right that this is him trying to deal with his guilt.
But I think they could have done it.
Trying to deal with
through-
his guilt, I think, is what
Yeah,
they
and I
just didn't
understand
write it
that.
well.
Like he is not who we wanted to be as a captain. Like remember all the smug little looks and the smiles on his face. And
Oh, and how
things
excited he was to go, see a
Yeah.
fucking comet,
Mhm.
like, and now it's like he's on this mission where he's like, literally, he just is killing people. Like, that's what he's
killing
doing.
people, and he's
Yeah.
sticking it to religious fanatics and whatever else comes up on a week. It's been a couple of
Cowboy
crazy,
planets.
couple crazy years for him here. So he's like, okay, meet me down in the shuttle bay later, Mayweather. You're going to teach me to fly that insectoid ship. And while he's walking along, he enters the turbo lift, and then all of a sudden, it's changed. He's not
Comes out and he's in the future.
Yeah, he looks around and it's our good old buddy Daniels. Welcome along. He's not too happy to see Daniels,
Well, he's in the middle of something. He's like,
one ever
come on,
is.
Daniels. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay. So again, second problem. Everything when he has a conversation with Daniels, everything stops at their side. So just relax. You
Right.
got time.
Yeah,
You have
because
all
in
the
real
time.
time has kind of paused here. Yeah.
But here's he already knows Daniel has proven himself to be right. So slow down, Archer. Listen to him.
Yeah.
Doesn't
He
want
kind
to.
of went pretty hostile on him, eh? It's like,
He
if he's
did.
interrupting you right now, there's probably a good reason. Like,
But you've got to Paul telling him to do this, and now you've got Daniels telling him to do this. Anyway, this is where it's the right thing to do. It's a Star Trek thing to do, and he's going the other way.
Kevin, was this the first time you saw this scene?
Yeah.
Me? Or
Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we find that this is we find out that this is the 26th century. It's like the 25. So it's way after Picard and all that stuff.
yeah,
The Battle of
25,
Procyon
60 or something
Procyon
like that.
5.
The Battle of Procyon 5, where the Federation engaged the Spear Builders. Vulcans, Andorians, Ithanites, Klingons, dozens of species, including humans, all unified in a powerful alliance.
Who are Ithanites?
I feel like we maybe met them in an earlier episode.
We're gonna have to look that up.
That'll probably come up in fun facts, but yeah, he's like, again, like there's things that Daniel is willing to tell Archer about the future, and things he's not willing to tell him.
The Federation. You've mentioned them before.
Yeah, I don't know if he should know about the Federation. That seems like a big thing to tell him about, considering he's from.
But it's exactly what Archer wanted. Like this is, out of this journey he's on. Like this is where I'd be excited if I was Archer. Yes, like we're going the way I wanted to go.
Yeah, this is like, guess what? The Xindi aren't your real enemy, and you don't have to go on this like us versus them kind of war, holy war. It's the real enemy is the Sphere Builders.
Which really wasn't explained, but that's okay. We can live without that right now.
Well, he kind of explains it here that like they're invading the realm by changing space into the expanse, and this is what the spheres are, and so they're but in the 26th century the Federation is going to stop them. So the Sphere Builders are trying to change history. This is where the temporal Cold War actually started to get interesting to me, and like it really was kind of, I thought, well done here.
Well, it's a slow burn for sure. Yeah, it takes a while to get there, doesn't it?
But
Yeah.
Dave, you missed the graphic of the Enterprise J. It was
go back.
Size
You kind of see it there behind Archer. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the prettiest looking ship.
Nope.
But it's sure
I think
is
it's
big.
interesting that the saucer is actually kind of under everything. Like
Yeah.
it actually has this big long stem that goes from the nacelles to the bridge, essentially, by the looks of it. So maybe they
Yeah.
learned finally in the 26th century, they finally learned that they shouldn't have their bridge on the top of the ship, like right where somebody can shoot it.
Maybe, but
Maybe.
it is Starfleet. I wouldn't give them that much.
Yeah, I
credit.
would give them that credit.
But the Enterprise J, like you can get this on Star Trek Online, and when I see this ship, it's so big, and it's just like this flat
Well, this
looking
is-
pancake.
What generation class is this? This is a universal class, right? Or universe class?
Like they don't. Like I think there's
Yeah.
some non-canonical versions that give us the class, but yeah, it's a far off future ship, and it's cool to see. Like
It is a universe class, yeah.
He's like, this is a distant relative of your ship. Like they're related, I guess, these ships.
Well, I think it makes sense to have something that's really extreme design wise, though, because like you wouldn't want it to look too much like the NX because obviously it's supposed to be really far in the future. It's just like look at Discovery versus like other ships. Like it's Discovery is like definitely different compared to a lot of other ships.
Yeah, and I'm fine with different classes of ships and things like that. I just find the J is like it's just this massive saucer, and it's just kind of like it's hard to kind of get any real sense of it, like when I see it in this one episode. But and we'll see.
I like the character Daniels. I think it's a great idea, and him coming back, but I hate his costuming.
Oh, the tubes.
Oh,
It doesn't fit him. It doesn't fit what he is. Like he needs a hat or something.
He needs a hat. I think he needs a hat. Maybe some gloves.
Something.
A name tag. I'm not quite sure.
Or maybe like a helmet.
Name tag. like
a name
or
tag.
Like a laser tag.
Hello, my name is Daniel.
That's what it looks like.
Hello, my name is Daniel.
Futuristic laser tag.
Yeah, the suit. I also got this suit in the Star Trek Online video game. I put it on my temporal agent character, but I'm starting to dislike it now that I realize it's not. It's really tubey. It's got a lot of tubes.
Dave said that, not us.
Yeah, none of us said that. That was only Dave.
Did you say insects evolved from fish? Well, some insects did. Yes, shellfish and things like that. You ever notice how a lobster and a scorpion kind of look the same? There's a reason.
Oh, there you go.
Really, everything evolved from fish.
From the water.
For the most part,
all life came from the ocean.
Everything.
Yeah.
Water is life, my friends. Water is life.
Anyway, but the big point of this conversation is that Daniels is like, you can't sacrifice yourself. You're too important to the history of the Federation. That if you die, then this future dies. Because if you die, then and if Earth is destroyed, there will be no Federation. We'll never stop the Sphere Builders. You'll change everything out. And Archer doesn't care. He's gonna blow himself up. No one else will make him. But Daniels gives Archer one last thing. He gives him this little Xindi medallion thing, they call it. It's like a little coin.
It's like a graduation coin thing or something, right?
Right, and we're told that there's Xindi serving in Starfleet on the Enterprise J at this time. So
at least one,
yeah. And so Archer's like, really? Oh, okay. Takes it with him, goes back to Enterprise, and then he starts he gives it to T'Pol, who while she says she's still skeptical of time travel, that going to Detroit and having that whole mission
tempered her skepticism. Yeah,
tempered her skepticism. Yeah,
exactly.
Good old Carpenter Street. Terrible episode, but good.
It's okay.
I like it.
It's okay.
I'm with you, Adam. It wasn't great.
I liked it better than Hatchery.
I like Hatchery.
Anyway,
I don't like it incredibly, but I do like it.
But I think this is like the first moment in the episode where T'Pol's like, I don't want you to die, Captain. And we're getting these glimpses that emotionally, like T'Pol is not keeping it together. Her normal Vulcan.
She's losing it. And we find out later why, but it's, still.
Was it
we find out in this episode or the next?
Oh, maybe it is the next, because I watched both of them.
They're running together for me.
Is it Trillium D? Is that what's doing it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But for me, knowing that now would have been better.
I
like in control T'Pol. That's my
yeah.
Well, and in this situation, you kind of want control.
You want the T'Pol that's going to say, Captain, stop being an ass. Do what you're supposed to do.
Well, if she does, though, she does a couple times in this episode.
But he doesn't listen.
But he doesn't listen to her.
Yeah, and she's
like, I don't want you to die. Mission because he feels like shit. He feels like shit to himself. He knows what he's become.
Right. And she has this cry out here that I don't want you to die. And he's almost touched. He's like, oh, wow, you care about me. How far we've come, the two of us.
Yeah, you used to despise me.
Right.
Now you tolerate me. Well done.
You used to think I smelled and weren't ready to go into space.
I think she doesn't want to run the ship.
Well, maybe she doesn't want to be left in command, whatever. Yeah, but here we see, she's starting to break down. There's a time jump, and we head over to the Xindi ship where we got the Reptilian, we got Degra. I'm trying to remember what was going on in this conversation. This is where they find out that the base has been destroyed. I think that they find out that the Xindi base that Archer blew up earlier.
Yeah, they already knew about it, even though it hasn't been that long. But
right. so there's kind of like these moments, and then like the reptilian leaves, and then like Degra starts to like have this soul searching moment where he's like, oh, the arboreal guy's like, I haven't seen you like this since we attacked with the initial weapon, that attacked like the Florida, killed the 7 million people in the initial attack. Okay, the one thing I didn't talk about in that episode with Degra, whatever that was called a couple of weeks ago, stratagem, was that Degra's like, he's like, well, I keep thinking about how many children were killed in like this attack, and I'm like, what does if they were like fully grown people, like adults, then it's okay to kill them? It's only wrong to kill children.
Well,
Degra?
it's the same thing like that has happened in every war, really. Like there's always people that are against the idea of the innocents being part of it, right? Like and the thing I like about Degra is when we first meet Degra, we're like, wow, you're a dick. And then the more we see Degra, the more we realize he really does have humanity in him. And he really doesn't want to be part of this, but it's his job, right? Like I'm sure this is the same thing that happens to people who design weapons. Like, these are weapons.
I am the destroyer of worlds.
Yeah. I'm the destroyer of worlds, right? Yeah, exactly. So I actually like what they did with Degra, even though I don't like Degra's character, but I do like, and how it links up later on. Like, for instance, right now, like we're seeing a link between him and Archer because of that other episode, right? So
I like that he's struggling with the morality of all of this. Yep. But I guess it's just a trope sometimes in fiction where they're like, what about the children? I'm like, it's not like when somebody turns 18 years old, it's suddenly okay to kill them now that they're an adult. Like,
well, we have to think that way. But he did say
he also. Yeah. Sorry, Kevin. Yeah.
Oh, so yeah. We have to treat them. We have to think that way so we can send them off to war.
Oh, okay.
But he also did say, like, I already killed 7 million people. Like, and he was really referring to people, not just kids.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And now he's going to do a billion. He's basically.
But I think that's the progression of his character. Is you're seeing that he does have remorse at this point. So now what are you going to do, right? And
but they're going to be ready to go on this full scale genocide.
Yeah, like it's a little bit different when you're wiping out a whole planet.
And meanwhile, the reptilian guy, he's just like, we're done. Once we're done here, we're going more.
We're going. Yeah, he's not leaving anything under the rocks or anything like that.
We're not stopping at the planet. Yeah. Forget that. There are humans out there, and I'm going to kill them all.
Yeah, right.
He's going full bender on them.
Well, and you have to think about this. If they can do this to one planet, next they can go drop by Vulcan. They can go drop by, you think
Kronos, like Vulcan and Doria and other planets like would be. This would almost precipitate the first Federation to say, like, if you blow them up, then you might blow us up next, and whatever, right? But I think that they just want this to be like an Archer versus this entire threat, in this story, so they don't do that. But we see here, that Degra and the Arboreal, they're starting to, especially Degra, he's struggling with it. Then we get to this other scene here with Archer learning to fly the insectoid ship from Mayweather. This is where Mayweather says, "You're the least expendable guy on the ship. Why are you going on this mission?" But and then Archer shows up here with Phlox and sickbay.
Well, and I feel like they cut something out of that scene, because I'm sure there was something like Archer along the lines of I'm already responsible for all these deaths, blah blah blah.
I think he already said that though, Jody.
Oh, did he?
Because when after he says, I don't want to be responsible for anymore. He was talking about all the deaths and whatnot.
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah.
But it would have been really great if he just said, "Okay, you got it, Mayweather. I'll see you later."
Yeah, it's better than you than me. Okay, yeah, you're right.
Me into it.
I like the emotional acting that Bakula is doing in this episode. I think it translates really well.
I like him in this episode. I just don't like the decisions he's making or was written.
His decisions are stupid, but that's also what happens when you're in this state of mind, right?
Right.
So.
The scene here in sickbay where Archer drops off Porthos, with
give him the cheese, Dave. Make sure he gets cheese.
Once in a while. Give him,
I like
slip him a piece of cheese every now and then.
I also like how Archer referred to the sickbay as a menagerie. I think that was funny.
Yeah.
Your
He's like,
menagerie.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
like, you're not going to harvest anything from Porthos. He's like, oh, I probably won't need to.
I probably won't need to.
Well, he doesn't say no.
He doesn't
He's
say
like,
no.
Oh, I don't think I'll. have
Unlikely.
What's the odds of us running into another dog that needs organs? Like, come on.
But if there was something he could get from like a dog spleen, or I guess dogs don't have spleens. If he could get from like, yeah, he could treat some other thing with a dog's something else, he probably would.
He's all in for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially if it doesn't kill him. Anyway, so he leaves Porthos here, and then we get Archer's speech here, where he's like, "Remember when we left? We were explorers, and I want you guys to get back to that." You know, and
I didn't mind that speech.
It was pretty. It was one of the only speeches he's really ever done.
It's not a bad one either.
Not a bad one. I'll play it at the end of of our podcast. But yeah, it was pretty good. You know, anyone's like, he's like, I there's to be a lot of captains to sit in this chair, but no one could ever be more proud than me. You know, as me as a captain, he says. I'm like, okay.
You're the only one that's ever sat in that chair, dude.
Yeah, he's like, well, he's foreshadowing like there will be more captains, there will be more, you know, people to do this, but no one's gonna be more proud than me, is what he says. Anyway, so then he leaves the ship, he leaves Enterprise, it's the Flock's pet shop.
Yeah.
And he's heads down. He's heading towards Azati Prime, and this is where like T'Pol, like, you know, we see her like emotionally. She's kind of struggling. She's looking at him leave. She kind of heads off to the ready room. I'm going to the ready room, and Trip's like, "What's up with her?" You know, so he's kind of noticed her back in the ready room
today.
Yeah, she's like she has like this emotional breakdown in the ready room. You know,
Yep.
and so she's actually crying, tears.
She's
you know?
breaking down.
Right, but she's
That's a great shot.
Yeah, that's Archer
cool
heading
shot.
down.
Yeah.
He's learning how he's figuring this thing out. He's learning to think like an insectoid.
Well, the insectoids, correct me if I'm wrong, but they have more than 2 arms, right? Does
They have
anyone?
they have like 2 main arms. I think they do have more. Yeah, you're right.
So that's probably why there's 4 handles, right? So I'm guessing that's why, because there's
And
the
they
2
also
main ones in
refer
the
to
middle.
their vision, right? Their vision is a bug eye, so you can see all around.
Right. Yeah, they
Yeah.
have compound eyes and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you see him flying. I think this ship is meant to be flown by 2 Xindi insectoids as well.
Oh, maybe.
Anyway,
Brought
so
Malcolm
he hits,
along.
yeah. So he's heading down.
If anything, you
in the
could pin
water.
him to the hull of something.
And they have like this universal translator hooked up inside the shuttle that they can talk to the other ships. But as he's approaching the thing,
Just reminds me of in Star Wars where they're doing like they're trying to land on the Death Star and they got they're trying to do the clearance code thing, but like the delay is so long in between them, it's like no one's gonna believe that this is a real conversation. Like it doesn't take that long to do this, but I think
Yeah.
that's kind of funny.
Anyway, but they get the drop on Archer. Is kind of the net result here that he doesn't get to his mission to blow them up. He's kind of ambushed here by the. I guess these are insectoids. I don't really know who these are, or maybe they're
well, these
species.
are aquatics, I'm guessing.
These are aquatics. Okay. Anyway, they get the drop on him. They take all his power out, and then back on Enterprise, T'Pol is just kind of deep in thought in the ready room, kind of isolating herself. So Trip hits the doorbell, and then she goes all serious mode. She's just focused on work. He's like, I don't know what the hell you're doing in here, but maybe you want to come out and be on the bridge and be in command. You know, maybe that'd be a good idea.
She's like, oh, they know how to get a hold of me.
They'll call me if they need me. She's like, well, he's like, they kind of need you right now to be the captain, you know, because Archer's not supposed to come back. Archer's supposed to die, but they haven't detected the explosion, so they don't know what's happened to him. You know, and then remember they had their whole like one night fling, these two, not that long ago, and that hasn't really been addressed either. But T'Pol doesn't want any of Trip's advice,
I don't need any leadership advice.
and then she sends him out of the room, dismissed.
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 Get out.
Dismissed. Yeah, get out.
Get out. Oh, okay.
Very formal.
So he heads out, and then we see, more. Anyway, so then we get the Archer being beat up and tortured, interrogated, whatever, by the
best
Xindi.
scenes of this entire episode.
Yeah, they're just. Yeah, they keep saying like, how many Earth ships are there? Like, if you guys knew that it was just this one ship, you would have blown it up a long time ago. because that would be the
I'm
end.
surprised Archers didn't go, oh, 82. You know,
Yeah.
like, I'm surprised he did like just give them a number.
There are hundreds of our ships. Watch out, you know.
Yeah, they're all coming in right now.
right.
Anything he would have said, he wouldn't have believed, though, right?
No,
No,
and that's the whole
probably not.
point, right? Yeah.
You think they
It's
would have
just
some
a-
kind of
it's just to
reptilian
beat 'em
truth
some more.
serum or something, or some kind of like mind probe technology. But
Or some sort of
I just
bug
raised
they put near-
insectoids, guys, and you're beating me up.
yes, I was so good with those insectoid babies. You should see.
That's
The
what he
Zindi-
should have did. He should have brought one of them back from the hatchery and put it in his pocket and then showed them it.
Yeah.
The Zindi seem to know a lot about humans. How do they not know that they only have one ship? Total.
Yeah.
Like,
Seems like
They're very
the intel's a little
selective.
lacking here. Yeah.
Their intelligence abilities, like they can go back in time, and they were studying humanity in like the 20th century. And
they know all of our blood types.
All
but
of our
don't
blood
know
types.
that we only have one ship.
one
at
ship,
this time?
and this is not even classified information on Earth. They can get this. So anyway,
they build these fucking Death Star things faster than we build ships.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, like
Well,
it
the
doesn't-
sister ship is built now, I think, but I don't think it's launched. yet.
Columbia is getting built, but
Yeah.
you know, we saw that a little bit in the end of last season. But you know, and that I think that will start showing up.
Well,
in
we
season
meet
4.
the captain of Columbia in the 4th season.
Hernandez.
Hernandez, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, so this Zindi reptilian is really like Archer tries to like tell him off.
I
and whatever.
love that makeup and outfit and everything. Look at his nails. His nails are awesome.
Yeah, it's quite the
Everything
makeup.
about they did such a good job on this series for that.
Yeah. But this, where Archer starts insulting him.
I'll bet you didn't know this, but at one time, most of my world was ruled by reptiles. I wasn't aware of that. A comet hit around 65 million years ago, caused a mass extinction. Most of the reptiles died out. Mammals became the dominant species. How unfortunate. Still, the reptiles might have come out on top if it hadn't been for a slight disadvantage. And what was that? They had brains the size of a walnut. That's very small.
It's very small.
Apparently, it's a constant in the universe.
Constant in the universe. Love that. That's like a Kirk level burn right
Oh
there.
yeah, it's taken the long way around to a very easy insult.
Yeah. Super easy insult, but he really built that one, didn't he?
Yeah.
Built the foundation and everything on that one.
Yeah, it really pisses this guy off, and then he really starts. And then he also, I think he reveals like, I know exactly where your ship is, and we're going to destroy it very soon.
Yeah.
Back on Enterprise, there's this meeting here between T'Pol and Reed and Trip. They're kind of trying to figure out what to do. The fact that they don't know where the captain is. They don't know what to do. And T'Pol's idea here is like, why don't I just go talk to the Zindi? Why don't I like sacrifice myself and try to negotiate? And like, this is the stupidest idea ever. What are you talking about? You know, they're just going to capture you in an instant. And she's like, but maybe it will work. But she's like looking to sacrifice herself, like Death Wish number 2 captain here. Everyone wants to,
My
blow themselves up.
Is in
No,
a-
but okay, you're missing the underlying problem here, guys. No one wants to work with Malcolm.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Well, I do. I think maybe this is where you were going, Kevin, because Trip says like,
What happens if you fail?
Yeah.
Are we supposed to just keep sending people in until there's no one left?
Sounds like
she's
plan.
like, no, we only have 2 shuttles.
He's like, no, we only have one shuttle pod
We
left.
only have one shuttle left. Yeah.
well, you still have the transporter. But
That's what I love about T'Pol's writing in this series. They always have these like undercooked burns for her. It's great.
But there was we also missed the point here where Archer says, "Bring me Degra. I want to talk to Degra." He says to the reptilian. She's like, "How do you know Degra?" He's like, "It doesn't matter." He's just like, "Tell him I know the name of his kid." And
Dave,
whatever.
can I just point out here? Now he's doing exactly what Daniels and T'Pol told him to do in the first place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, because his other mission failed. They even say that. Degra
Yeah.
even says that to him, and he's like, "Oh well, whatever." Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
He was
like,
like,
I'm
I
on
would
But now
another
I'm
one
trying
now.
to make a piece.
I would
Now I'm trying
prefer
make
to
a
have
piece.
blown up your weapon completely, but if I can't blow it up, then I'm going to try to talk you down.
yeah.
It seems like you should probably do it in the reverse
And there's
order.
this guy named Daniels, and he wears these silly outfits, and he keeps telling me that if I blow it up, it's going to be the end of humanity. So
See, I would have rather that they didn't believe him, and then he stole a ship and tried to blow it up or something.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, that
Would have been a good way to end this episode, though. He goes to he goes to Degra, and he's like, Daniels told me this, and he's like, Daniels, and then it just cuts to black. That would have been cool.
Well, the
should've wrote
Cold
this episode.
War, he's like, why don't you look in my pocket? Look in my pocket. I was like, first of all, I was like, you have a lot of pockets, Archer. You maybe need to be more specific here.
Who would have gone to his shoulder pocket? My God.
Yeah,
right?
I wouldn't necessarily thought that was the pocket that you needed to go to first. But
Well, in reality, none of the other ones open. So
yeah, I guess. And so they pull out this. He pulls out the medallion, and he's. I love how he's like, he's like, that came from the future. He's like, you're just making this up. He's like, listen
to me, you son of a bitch. It wasn't any easier for me to swallow this than it is for you.
It took him months.
Yeah.
It took him months.
he's definitely channeling inner Kirk there, though.
Oh yeah, listen,
For
you
sure.
son of a
Because
bitch.
there's
I don't
remember
like this
Kirk
idea.
loses his shit too. It's the same way. Like he's like,
because there's this part of Archer that still wants revenge for the 7 million dead, and wants to stick it to these Zindi. On the other hand, he's like, no, like the bigger picture here is more significant,
No, he didn't think that until
he didn't think that.
Right. Well, yeah, he's not prioritizing things correctly, but he seems to be smart enough to kind of recognize a little bit about that.
Yeah, now that he has no choice.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He's been forced into the right decision.
Yes.
Whether he likes it or not.
Degra takes the little medallion that Daniels gave him. They test it. They verify it's from the future, or at least scientifically speaking. He's talking to the arboreal and the other primate guy, and like they're saying, well, what if there's some truth to this? What if the Zindi did go off and do this? Because Archer tells them about the reptilians did the whole the Carpenter Street episode that they were doing the thing with the blood types, and that was not sanctioned by the council. And for the reptilians are going off book. They're breaking the alliance with the different species. And
you know what else I just realized too is the fact that Archer took the medallion with him. Like he was leaving the crew of Enterprise with nothing.
Right.
Oh, that's a good point.
And they might have needed that medallion potentially.
Yeah.
But
or
not.
was this his plan the whole time?
Maybe.
I don't.
No, I guess it doesn't
I don't
seem
think
like
so.
that. I'd like to think so, but I don't think so. And
I was just generating a thought, guys. I didn't believe it.
And this is where T'Pol and Trip are. And T'Pol's like, okay, I have to go save the captain. I have to sacrifice myself. She's like, what are you supposed to do when we send another? She's not looking to engage with Trip any more than she was in the earlier meeting.
No.
Some interesting shots here from below. But anyway, she gets all mad at him. She lashes out, and he's like, what the hell is the matter with you? But at that moment, she gets a call from the bridge. Oh,
You don't have to go anymore. They're coming here.
they're coming to us. The Zindi are coming to us. You don't need to leave. Oh, good. So we see the Zindi are coming at them hard. We see them approaching Enterprise, and it's not looking good. Looks like they're in for a fight. Back on the Zindi ship here with Archer, he meets with Degra and this other guy, this primate guy, and they're all like, "Well, you are just telling us what you want to hear." He's like, "This is where I think he says, listen, you son of a bitch. I don't like this idea, but if you destroy humanity, the Zindi are going to be destroyed as well." There was also that in the earlier scene too. There was like how the Zindi guys there, like Degra and them, were referring to maybe it was her who told the reptilians how to go back in time.
Yeah, that's the one thing I caught, which I was like,
I guess that's a sphere builder, like a female sphere builder who's kind of pulling the strings, probably.
Yeah.
On the Zindi, who I don't think we've met that character.
I don't even remember this part of the arc, quite honestly.
Met
Not
her,
yet.
Yeah. But she's referred to.
There is somebody though, yeah.
And meanwhile, Enterprise is getting hammered by the Zindi. Like the fight's going on. They're not holding their own at all.
This is a pretty good like destruction scene though. Like when you look at it from a Star Trek viewpoint, like usually it's just wiggle the cam a couple times and then people fall over. But like there's a lot of crap going on over here.
This is like Wrath of Khan reliant kind of like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like things are blowing up all over the place. Things are falling down. It's fantastic. I think they did a great job.
People are being blown out of the hull.
Yeah, I got some shots of that come in a
Specifically,
second.
3 of them.
Yeah.
I
Some Crewmen.
assume the 3 they couldn't find.
Yeah.
Yeah,
3 people they didn't need.
like-
Yeah. Anyway, and then while they're back with Archer, the reptilian guy shows up. And he's like, "We're tired of this patience," and he kind of like completely disregards Degra and the others, and he kind of just takes Archer back as a prisoner.
I have a really hard time figuring out what the command structure is of the Zindi.
Me too.
Yeah.
Like they're all
These
over
guys
the
have
place.
no patience, Jody. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah,
patience
like the reptilian guys are just like shoot first, ask later kind of thing. And then you have like the primates who are more of the intellectual in a lot of scenarios. And then you have like the aquatics who literally do nothing from what I can tell. They facilitate transport, I think.
And
is
don't
about
forget
all
the
they do.
Arboreals.
And then the arboreals, yeah.
The
So,
Boreals feel like philosophers and scientists, kind of.
Yeah, they're like the,
They're like the orangutans and
Yeah.
Escape from the Planet of the Apes. And
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas.
Of course,
But
I
like,
would
but
forget the Planet of the
I
Apes.
guess they're 5 species that are aligned together as one, but they're kind of all have their own interests, right? And
Yeah, they
How
have a
much they
common ancestry, and then
right
past that,
they're very different from each other. Like it's sometimes, but like it seems like the reptilian is sometimes willing to play ball with the primates, and sometimes he's not. So
Yeah.
it's anyway, back with Enterprise, it's getting hammered here. Things are on fire. I felt like did they give an abandoned ship here? Oh yeah, this guy gets set on fire.
Oh, crazy, right? Amazing.
know. Yeah. They're like, we're gonna spend some money.
how many people get set on fire in Star Trek episodes?
This is the one.
Is this it? Yeah, I don't think
think
we've
so.
seen that before. Yeah,
No, like you see this in movies sometimes, but like,
this was a good scene.
they spent
Yeah.
a lot of cash on this episode.
I feel like to Paul, like you sort of sense her, like, I don't know what to do. My ship is
Panic.
falling apart. I've got no control.
Yeah, she's just losing it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Trip has to like give everyone get the hell out of here in engineering. Like I thought we were gonna see the escape pods coming out here or something. We don't.
Yeah.
I guess they don't really have any. And yeah, like
I
Enterprise
don't
is
know
hull.
if Enterprise NX has any, quite honestly.
You don't see any like on the hull. So
I'm gonna have to check my Hayes book for that.
I'm sure they do. Every
maybe
ship
Coupe?
has some kind of escape pod.
I don't know.
yeah.
I'm gonna find that.
But there's no mention of that. Like, and anyway, so we see here like the hull gets blown open, like 3 or 4 people get sucked out here into space.
that was great.
Yeah,
I don't know if I was supposed to giggle at that point, but I was.
Well, it's-
It was like
Every
the
time I see
Woodward.
people get shot out of the like holes in ships, I always giggle. I don't know why.
yeah, and this is like where T'Pol is like, I don't know what to do. I'm kind of frozen here, and the
It's
attack
like
just keeps
Apocalypse
going.
Now for like her, man. It's like
Right.
PTSD and everything all rolled into one on this.
Enterprise is not in great shape, and the fight continues, and then we go to credits.
We done. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, now it wasn't done for me because I instantly went to the next episode.
Yeah, that was a great ending. A great ending.
It was a cool way to end it, though. For sure. For sure.
That is the only way to do a non-ending.
Yeah.
Right. It's the most to be continued, but without being to be continued, I guess.
Well, and it was a really good draw too, because like literally when I saw the credits roll, I'm like, oh fuck you, I'm going to the next episode. Like
And I
there was
actually like
there was
that
no
they
delay.
didn't- I like that they didn't do a last time. They just next episode just picks up same spot.
I
good.
think Netflix does
they?
have a recap, but I think if you go from the one episode to the other, it automatically skips that part because it skipped for me. I don't know. Because I went instantly to
I've developed this
47 seconds
routine,
in.
I've developed a routine, since we started doing this where I watch it on Sunday before. So I had to stop myself. Kevin was last night was the only time I really wanted to watch the next one.
The next one.
And
I already watched it.
I usually stop
held
too,
on.
but I at the end of that, there wasn't even a moment I was like, oh, I'm watching the next one.
That's good.
Well, the only thing more fun than this episode, guys, is probably Adam's fun facts.
Oh, fun facts with Adam.
Things could be a lot.
Adam!
All right, guys.
There you go.
Are you ready? This is the 11th starship to be called Enterprise with the registry NCC 1701 is depicted in this episode, although the ship's class is not mentioned. Ships named Enterprise that do not have this registry are not counted. Included the OV-101, the XCV-330, and the NX-01. Many of the ships in the Battle of Procyon 5 are reused studio models from throughout the various series. Among those can be clearly identified are the Vorchar class, the Prometheus class, the Nova class, and the Dauntless class starships, as well as the Vision starship and the Devora warship standing in for the Sphere builders. The episode relies on a large extent of information obtained by Archer in the Stratagem episode, so we needed that episode, that's for sure. Okay, Scott McDonald, he plays the reptilian commander Dolam, who we all like.
Scott McDonald.
Yeah, Scott McDonald, right?
I like his outfit anyway.
Yeah, he played Tosk in Deep Space Nine, Captive Pursuit.
Nice. It's a great episode.
Goran Ajar in Starship Deep Space Nine, Hippocratic Oath. Sub-Commander Navek in Next Generation, The Face of the Enemy. And Ensign
I
Rollins.
love that episode.
Yeah, it was a good episode. And
That's
Ensign Rollins.
the Deanna looks like a Romulan episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love. Yeah, in Hippocratic Oath, he plays this Jemadar. He's amazing in that episode.
Yeah. And Ensign Rollins on Voyager Caretaker in 1995.
Yeah.
That was the first episode,
Terrible
wasn't
episode. Yeah.
Good actor.
Yeah.
Pilot episode.
Josh Drennan originated the role of Thalen in Enterprise Proving Ground in 2004. He also reprised the role in Enterprise Stratagem, but was replaced by Christopher Goodman for the character's appearance in this episode.
Is that just the other Zindi primate guy?
Yeah.
There was a new actor playing the same guy?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
This takes place in January 2154 and in the 2550s, Dave.
In the
2550s.
JC.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 2560s.
All right. The drinking glasses used by Degra in this scene, which were, I guess, the opening scene, were sold off in an auction online, but they were previously used in several episodes of Deep Space Nine in quarks.
Are they the ugly glasses that Jadzia called? She's like, these are some ugly glasses, Quark. She says that to him in one episode.
Maybe.
Yep. 3 men are shown blown into space through a hull breach, but they are later mentioned as among the missing in the fall.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
There you go.
In the next,
But they're
And
dead,
then-
right? They didn't survive that. They're not just missing.
They're dead.
they got sucked into space.
The damage inflicted to Enterprise in this episode is not repaired until the next season, actually, and it's called Borderland. Yep, the episode.
Yeah, the
And
next
so-
couple episodes are all kind of tied together.
And so Enterprise is going to be like a broken hull for the rest of the season?
For a while.
Oh, wow.
Couple episodes, yeah.
Some of the damage done to the NX-01 appears to be reused from previous episodes, including hull damage from the Enterprise Shockwave Part 2 and Regeneration, and then as well as significantly damaged port hull from my favorite episode, Minefield.
Mm-hmm. Who's your favorite character?
Oh, God.
It's a
Malcolm
trifecta
Peter's
of awesome, that episode.
Is that the end of the fun facts?
Yeah, that's it for tonight.
That's
All right,
as
thank
fun
you.
as it's getting, guys.
Okay, let's rate this episode, guys, and bring that in. Figure out what we want to give this. Jody, you want to start us off?
You know what? I'm going to give this a 9.
9.
good.
Adam?
It was fun. Adam's deep in thought.
I'm an 8. There's things where I can go down and I don't like. I wish they would have changed that plot line just a bit.
Okay, and what would you give last week's episode?
But I really like. I'm not gonna say I don't like this.
You guys
Is he
hear?
delayed or is it just me?
Yeah, he's
It's
delayed.
him. It's him. It's not us. It's him.
Okay.
Sorry, Adam. You were breaking up for the last minute or so. Can you?
Did you
repeat
hear
those
me? I
things?
really like the episode, but it's an 8.
It's an
Yeah, we
8.
got-
It's an 8. Okay, and what was Hatchery?
Last week's episode.
Oh, 7.
Okay.
7.
All right,
7.
7. Gotcha. 7. Okay, and then I'm gonna go for this one. I think it's a 9 as well. I think it's pretty good. Maybe even 9.1.
Well, 9.14.
Ooh.
Yeah.
9.14. That's pretty specific.
Kevin?
I'm gonna give this a 10. It's great storytelling. Whether
Oh, there you
you
go.
agree with everything that's in it, it's great. Spoiler alert: next week, also a 10.
Yeah,
Uh,
next week's episode's even more fun.
Sam saying 10.
Oh, there you go.
Davan, I would imagine he would give this a 10, but we'll let him chime in on his own. This has an 8.5 on IMDb. As we mentioned, Manny Cotto wrote the teleplay and helped write the story along with Berman and Braga. Ellen Croker directed the episode, and as you know, and we already got the update from Adam that this is the 2154 and the 2550s, and so yeah, this episode aired on March 3rd, 2004, and then the next episode didn't come out till like April 20th of. So there was like
and I tried to. Somebody actually in the comments, actually it was Sam, I believe. Yeah, Sam asked why they went on pause. I actually couldn't find a reason, but
Yeah, I don't
I'm
know.
guessing it was for some sort of event or something.
Deep
Maybe
Space
the
Nine would
Olympics
do
or
this
something,
too.
maybe?
Deep Space Nine and Voyager were both doing like this kind of, I don't know. I think it was to maybe they would have a break at Christmas, and then this is when they would catch up in episodes, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
So
That makes sense.
Yeah, but anyway, so our collective score for this episode tonight is 9, and so pretty good. We liked it quite a bit. So Damage is the next episode, Jody, as we mentioned.
It is, and I didn't bother to get the thing, but hold on 1 second, I'll get it.
I imagine they're doing damage control.
It's fantastic. Watch it.
It's good.
It's a good episode, yeah.
Oh, I will.
Okay, so Damage. The Enterprise crew must cope with the devastating damage of the ship. No wonder why it's called Damage. With another alien ship needing assistance nearby, T'Pol seeks help from Phlox with a personal problem, and dissent grows in the Xindi Council.
Starring none other than Casey Biggs.
Yes, Casey Biggs is in it. Yes, you're right.
I'm mostly curious like how they're going to survive being pummeled by the Xindi, like where they're left off. Did the Xindi just stop?
Well, they
firing?
don't have warp drive. They got a little bit of impulse, and most of the ship is broken, so they're not in good shape.
But why wouldn't the Xindi just finish them off?
Well,
You'll have
because
to
they-
watch and
you'll
find
I'll
out.
have to watch and
next
find out.
episode.
Well, maybe they should put it to be continued. I don't know.
You know what? I think they did exactly what they should have here.
So
I think
But
they
you
did
can
good.
you guys hear me now?
Yes.
yes. Yep.
Yeah, because so you could see why. Like, I mean, you said January till April, Dave. Was it? That was the.
No, it was
No, March till
about a
April.
month and a half, about 5 weeks maybe.
Yeah, that would have been a long time.
That
for
would have been
to-
a nail biter right there, eh? Yeah, you'd be like, "Oh, you son of a bitch," you know.
Yeah,
Like-
it was a while. Yeah, so
I
especially
couldn't even wait 15 seconds.
Yeah, no, literally, I saw the
There's
credits
no
and
way
I'm like,
five
"Oh,
weeks.
screw you! I'm still going."
good thing you're watching this in 2023 instead of in 2004. then. So
It reminded me of the end of season 6 for Walking Dead when you didn't find out who it was that they killed yet.
that Negan
So-
kill,
and you had to wait, and
Had
then
to
you
wait a
find
week.
out it was 2 people.
and then you
Oh,
find
that was waiting like 6 months.
Oh,
That
it was
was
more than 6 months. I think it was like 8 or 9.
and then there's like the decline of the show that came after it. So
Yeah, well, that's because you kill off characters that people like. Things happened.
yeah, there's been a lot of reasons. But anyway, yeah. So guys, next week, Damage. I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad we don't have to wait 5 weeks like they did back then. Or
You don't technically have to wait at all, Dave. You can watch it right after.
no, I gotta wait. I gotta wait at least
All
a
right,
week.
well,
Come back fresh. next
Kevin and
Monday.
I have already experienced the awesomeness.
Yeah, and so did Adam. Adam watched it too. He said,
No, I didn't. I didn't.
No,
Oh,
watch
you
he
it.
said
didn't.
he
You're
didn't.
waiting.
He
He's
thought.
waiting. Okay,
I was
Adam and I
waiting
are
too.
saving
You
ourselves.
two are waiting. You're saving yourselves for.
I
for next
have
week.
decided not to watch any Strange New Worlds trailers either. I'm not watching anything.
Oh, you missed the Leafs jersey. Okay.
I never watched the trailers.
So I love
That
trailers.
actually makes
I
me-
love trailers. I watch trailers for everything.
Trailers are lies. That's why I don't watch.
Oh, they are lies.
They're just lies.
Trailers
But
are
I
lies.
also like
I need that on a shirt.
I like to notice the lies. That's what I like about trailers is I get to watch it and then go, "Oh yeah, you totally screwed me on that. Oh yeah, you totally screwed me on that too." You know.
So anyway, guys, we have lots of other great Star Trek podcasts here on Live Long and Podcast.
You're not going to be screwed if you tune into those other things, Dave, that we have.
Nope. No. Well, we have our ongoing Deep Space Nine series, a little bit on hiatus. Kevin and I need to finish the last 2 episodes of season 6, somewhat, in somewhat of the near future.
Not
But
tomorrow, then.
probably not tomorrow. No, we have a hockey game tomorrow,
Hockey
so it won't be tomorrow.
I won't be playing, but there
maybe
is hockey tomorrow.
maybe next week. Big Brother's about to end, so at least get that off.
Okay. I'm in no rush.
Yeah, we have a couple in season 6. I just want to kind of get that done.
Well, it's a review for a show that's 25 years old, so
Right.
it's you're okay.
Yeah, no, just so that we can, like, when we come back off of hiatus, we can fully start into season 7 is kind of what I want to do.
Good idea.
But we're part of a federation of podcasts. The Live Long and Podcast is a great a whole bunch of different podcasts that have different focuses and needs. We also, we have the Super Mater Brothers podcast on that does all kinds of great stuff. Mostly because I'm on it.
I hear they're brothers.
They are brothers.
We are brothers!
Josh Foster, Jaemeel Robinson, and others. Jeff Mater sometimes on there. We got Survivor season 44. That wraps up next week. We have 2 episodes left in that show. And this week, Big Brother Canada 11 is ending. We got the finale on Thursday. Jaemeel, Jeff, and I, and Jane, we're all going to Toronto to kind of cover things and see what's going to be happening down there.
On location.
Yeah, we're heading down to Toronto. So watch out for that. Also, the Mary Mater Marvel Society, we call it, where we review MCU movies and TV shows. We just did our review of Guardians of the Galaxy 3 yet last night. Jaemeel and Davan and I, we were on.
I couldn't watch it because you guys were going to spoil it.
Yeah, you it's a spoiler review. So you.
Oh yeah, you made it clear, and that's when I stopped.
Yeah, you're meant to watch the movie first, but that just came out last night. So if you haven't got around to seeing that, check out our podcast when you do. And then there's other shows like Davin's got X-Rated, X-Men the Animated Series, a review show on Tuesdays with his buddy Andre. That's a part of the Federation where they're going through all those shows. Andre has the Graphic Histories podcast, a great audio format podcast where he interviews people from film and comic books. Hold Up, a movie podcast every second week with Murphy and Davan talking about 3 movies in a theme. Most recently, heist movies. They were doing that with Jaemeel, like the Pink Panther.
Yeah, it took a long time.
It was a 4-hour podcast, I heard.
Yeah, I had to stop it because
no.
I couldn't watch the whole damn thing.
Yeah, they got into
on
it.
the next one. Are they normally 4 hours?
No.
They're minimum 3.
Well, the one that I did, I think, came in under 3.
What time do these start? I work.
You got to talk to the producers. I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? Dave is not responsible for this. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Lay off.
Also, we have one of our newest shows, Eamon on Track. Eamon Mater, my son, reviewing music albums. Jody was on not too long ago, talking about the Nirvana album Nevermind.
It was a good time.
And Adam is going to be on tomorrow with Eamon talking about the Pogues album, Sodomy.
Rum Sodomy in the Lash.
Rum Sodomy in the Lash
album. Yeah, I love that album.
So Eamon talked to me today. He's like, it's very Pogues. I'm like, well, you'd imagine.
Well,
so so you're gonna be on tomorrow, educating my boy in the way of the Pogues, which I'm.
You know what I have to say, Dave? When I was on the episode, I was really shocked by how much musical knowledge Eamon has.
He knows a lot.
He's quite into it. Yeah.
All those YouTube videos he watches constantly of like
I guess,
into his brain into a lot of different things.
Beams it all into his head, eh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like he was teaching me things about Nirvana when I was talking to him.
Yeah, he was definitely not alive when that came out. So
no, exactly. That's one of the reasons why I picked it.
Yeah. So
I figured that looked better.
I'm excited to listen to that. I'm gonna probably listen to that album tomorrow and then listen to your guys' podcast
album.
on Wednesday. Because I won't be able to join you as I'll be at hockey on that day. And lastly, Trivial Debates coming up this Saturday. We got Chris Seymour hosting for his birthday a Mother's Day themed episode with myself, Eamon Mater, and Davan competing. So watch out.
Wow. That's all I'm gonna say. Just wow.
Just wow.
There's other things I can say, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah. So all those great things coming up on the network.
I'm gonna predict you're gonna win, Dave.
I might.
I'm gonna predict.
I predict I will too. That's my prediction. It would be
prediction
weird if I
is
predicted
you
I
will
would
win.
lose. So
That would be a little weird.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, I think those are all the great shows we have coming up this week and in the near future.
Sam has a question here.
Well, Davan lost his co-host, so I think he's just I think he's also liking the fact that it only has 3 podcasts to manage at the moment instead of 4. So I think I think
when that one's coming back. But
I think he will come back with it one day. I just think he needs to maybe focus on other things. Davan also has a second child on the way. Him and Tiffany do. So I think maybe
that's soon too, isn't it?
And a busy time of year for him too.
It's a busy time for work.
Yeah,
I don't know. Davan can decide whatever he wants to decide, of course. But I said, maybe just come back to it one day. When you're ready.
He hasn't said it's dead. He just says it's on hiatus right now.
It's on hiatus for the moment.
So it might be one of those things that he picks back up in the winter or something like that.
Sam's going for Davan at Trivial Debates.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Sounds like somebody just wants a podcast to come back.
All right. Well, guys, on that note, I said I would play the Archer speech for our way out here. Thanks for being with us. And live long and podcast, everybody. See you next time.
But I'm going to ask all of you to think back to the day when this ship was first launched. We were explorers then. When all this is over, when Earth is safe, I want you to get back to that job. There are 400 billion stars in our galaxy. We've only explored a tiny fraction.
Was he pacing?
You have a lot of work to do.
Oh, yeah.
All the captains who will sit in this chair. I can't imagine any of them being more proud than I am right now.
See you next time, everybody. Move on.
In circles. He was walking in circles. All